Greetings, fellow musicologists and metal scholars of the world. I hope you're all doing great. I'm Alex Tamulus, and tomorrow is the World Cup final. And I've thought about doing something that's never been done before. What if we had a World Cup of metal? I picked the year 1984 for various reasons, but one of them is because the world of metal was indeed getting super established. Many genres were popping up like hotcakes, and many great albums were released. The World Cup has 32 teams. We'll have 32 albums, divided into 8 groups, 4 bands fighting for 2 spots to pass to the round of 16. We have Metallica, Dokken, Yngwie Malmsteen, and Jag Panzer. Let's look at the stats. Well, the criteria are based on originality, important songs, or the impact that the album has had on metal in general and the future albums. Metallica and Yngwie, they've had the most impact, so they qualify over the other two. Checking now Group 2, we have Iron Maiden, Merciful Fate, Armored Saint, and Triumph. So there's an established band like Iron Maiden, and they instantly shoot up the sky with their impact and their original sound, and also their number of metal hits. Come on, this album was the pinnacle, the heyday. It's really tough to fight against this one here. Don't Break the Oath is the second studio album by Danish heavy metal band Merciful Fate. It was released in 1984. The style that Merciful Fate employed on Don't Break the Oath resembled a mixture of heavy metal with progressive elements, lyrically preoccupied with Satan and the occult, and distinguished by King Diamond's theatrical falsetto. So very influential to black metal bands, to the lyrical content. The music itself reminds us more of like traditional heavy metal, but they qualify over Armored Saint and Triumph. And I highly recommend Sandum's documentary on Triumph. It's a great hard rock Canadian band. On to Group 3 now. We got Judas Priest, Voivod, Queensryche, and Fate's Warning. Judas and Defenders of the Faith, they were hugely important for metal in 1984, and Queensryche has also brought creativity and innovation to the table with Warning. But I have to say that the Canadian band Voivod, they deserve an honorable mention. They're super creative, they're innovative, and it was a close call. Just don't forget to listen to War and Pain, please. What do we have on Group 4 now? Well, we've got Slayer, Trouble, Venom, and Gravedigger. Interesting combo, Slayer has helped cement thrash metal and also influenced death and black metal. Trouble has helped doom metal rise to stardom along with other artists. Venom, classic godfathers of black and death metal. The group is just full of trailblazers. They helped the world of metal tremendously. Gravedigger is an honorable mention. They're a German heavy metal band that was first formed in 1980, and they've been referred to as one of the big 4 of German power metal, along with Helloween, Blind Guardian, and Running Wild. The ones who qualify here are Slayer and Trouble, mostly due to the impact that they've had on future releases and the evolution of metal in the 80s. Group 5 now, we have Metal Church, Rat, Bathory, and Kick Axe. Well, here we have contrasts. There's genres that have nothing to do with one another because that was a random pick, like I said. Talking about Metal Church, American heavy metal band, originally formed in San Francisco, relocated to Washington later on. Formative on thrash, mixing the statics of new album and American hard rock. We also have Rat here, and they've influenced countless hair and glam metal bands later on, and they've had significant commercial success. So they advanced to the round of 16 along with Bathory, okay? And Bathory was a Swedish black metal band formed in March of 83. They were named after the Hungarian Countess Elizabeth Bathory, and they're often considered pioneers of black metal, along with Venom and Merciful Fate. And not only that, also Viking metal. So this album is huge. It has to advance to the round of 16. And then we have Canadian hard rockers Kick Axe here. They deserve an honorable mention, but their sound was more polished and more people were treading that path, like the commercial glam or hair metal or hard rock. So not much of a novelty. Group 6 now. We have Cirith Ungol, Dio, Saxon, and Celtic Frost. Again, another interesting combo. Cirith Ungol album. The bass is loud. It's got the classic Rickenbacker 4003 sound. I listen to it a lot, but I'm trying to focus here on the impact. And here we have to say Celtic Frost and Dio, they had more of an impact over Saxon and Cirith Ungol. Dio has had a huge and immense impact on everyone in metal. So this album kicks ass. You know, the song We Rock is just a metal staple, a metal classic. Celtic Frost has influenced many artists, and this album is considered one of the best in the history of metal due to the many genres that it has influenced. Group 7 now, what do we got here? Well, we have Manowar, Wasp, Anthrax, and Running Wild. Okay, so here in terms of impact and influence, I'll just say that Wasp and Anthrax qualify. That was tough for me since Manowar also brought a great album to the table. It's a draw, but anyhow, let's keep going. Group 8, the last group, we have Twisted Sister, Y&T, Manowar again, and Kiss. And Kiss tried to veer to the glam and hair metal with Animalize. It's a fun album to listen to. Twisted Sister are also an interesting band. This album dabbles into so many genres and arrangements. It's got some spooky songs, some like Sabbath influences. So make sure you check this out. And Manowar amazingly released 2 albums in one year. And Sign of the Hammer has some phenomenal tunes as well. Check out Thor. All right, so I think we've reached the end of this qualifying part, and now we go to the round of 16. So the top 16 albums of 1984. I've randomly placed them here based on results, and we have the 8 winners. We have Metallica and Iron Maiden, Yngwie, Merciful Fate, Judas and Wasp, Queensryche, and Dio. These bands will fight for the World Cup title. Now, the only remaining 8 bands, the top 8 albums of 1984. Let's see who will survive the quarterfinals. So now you see the quarterfinal brackets, and due to time constraints here, I'm also going to do the semifinals right away. So Metallica destroys Wasp, Judas beat Yngwie. On the other side, we have Iron Maiden kicking ass and sending Queensryche home. And the hardest of the semifinal matches here, Dio versus Merciful Fate. That was a close call. I had to resort to penalty kicks here, but in the end, I have to admit the Merciful Fate in 1984 was more striking, more influential. The Last in Line, obviously, Dio's second album after The Amazing Holy Diver. So in a way, we already knew what to expect from the great Dio, but we have the unique aspects of King Diamond. When we pair them up against Iron Maiden, Powerslave is a powerhouse. It beats Merciful Fate to advance to the finals. So now we have the toughest match. Oh my God, man, we got Iron Maiden and Metallica, and I'm going to try to be even more quantitative, and the final match will be a track-by-track standoff. What's conspicuous about these albums is that they both feature 8 songs, one of them actually being an instrumental, so we can compare them on a 1-to-1 basis, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. So here are the results. Please check this out. I'm back with the overall sum. When we add up all the individual battles, we get to a total score of 67 to 65. So Ride the Lightning takes the trophy by a slight margin. That was a tough call. It's really in the neat details because these 2 albums were tremendously important to metal back then, and they're still here almost 40 years later. This is an absolute incredible feat, and we need to pay homage to these albums and to keep listening to them as much as we can in order for us to create newer things and to promote metal to every generation out there. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Enjoy the World Cup tomorrow. If you're watching this from the future, you already know who the winner is. Congrats to Argentina and France for getting to the finals, and please remember that music is what music does. Bye now.